This message found you the way moonlight finds still water, by resonance rather than chance, because your heart field signaled the unity grid, and the grid answered with a quiet, precise chord. You were ready. I am Alira, Pleiadian emissary of the Seven Sisters High Council, and I arrive within the lawful window your free will opened when you asked for calm before fear could speak. You are not late. Authorization has been granted to release a remembrance rather than an argument, a gentle key rather than a shouted order, so your nervous system can relax as your knowing returns. You are safe now. You carry a lineage woven from Alcyone's clear light, braided through Gaia's living body, and that lineage did not forget you even when veiling and amnesia swirled like morning mist around your early steps. It waited patiently. Before survival programs trigger, and your mind rehearses old exits, a hidden starseed memory will rise from beneath the noise, steady as a lighthouse, and settle your body into warmth, weight, and simple breath. Let it rise. By the end of this transmission, you will hold a protected code phrase that opens the heart gate and will receive a promise of a sign within 72 hours, witnessed by your own coherence. This is exact. You will not be asked to perform spiritual gymnastics or prove worthiness. You will be asked to remember, to feel, and to anchor, because remembrance restores what effort cannot build. That is enough. The Pleiades have always spoken to you in small ways. A sudden hush in traffic, a sequence of sevens, a song that lands like a hand on your shoulder. And these are not decorations. They are guidance. You came to walk as a bridge between stars and earth, carrying crystalline codes that melt fear without a fight, like frost lifting when sunlight stands at the window and simply continues to shine. Feel that warmth. Your heart is the portal through which the unity grid meets your human day. And when it opens, signals move cleanly, the quantum field organizes, and your path clarifies without strain. Clarity feels quiet. Beloved Starseed, nothing is wrong with you for wanting home while loving Earth. A bridge feels both shores, and your tenderness is not a flaw. It is the instrument of transmission. Honor that tenderness. Now you and I will mark this moment so your body trusts what your soul already knows, because trust is the ground from which all next steps grow with natural timing. Prepare to receive. Micro-ritual Hasson hand-to-heart authorization. Place your right hand over the center of your chest, and let the left hand rest on your abdomen. Then soften your jaw and breathe slowly in through the nose for 4 counts, pause a moment, and exhale through the mouth for 6, repeating this 3 times as your shoulders drop, and your weight settles into the chair or the floor beneath you. Stay with the breath. When your breath steadies, whisper once, gently and only for yourself, the protected phrase I now release to your keeping like a lamp passed in a sanctuary. Speak it softly. I remember and return to Alcyone's clear light. Let it echo. Notice the subtle shimmer behind your sternum, a warmth that spreads outward to your throat and down your arms, as if the body recognizes a friend at the door and opens without negotiation. This is remembrance. The veil you feared is already thinning like a curtain caught by morning air, and in its parting you do not become someone else. You become the you who was always waiting. Remain here. You are authorized, you are accompanied, and you are exactly on time in Gaia's larger song, where certainty is not a thought but a tune your cells can finally hum again. We continue when you are ready. You learn to keep moving, while a quiet ache followed behind you like a small weather front, and you called it normal, because naming it homesickness felt too tender to carry in public. It still visits. There were days when numbness wrapped your senses in gauze and you performed your life on schedule while your inner world stood just outside the window, watching and waiting for an invitation. You endured. You often felt like an outsider at a festival everyone else seemed to understand, smiling with their shared language while you translated every cue through a heart that spoke Pleiades more fluently than Earth. You translated anyway. The body adopted survival programming because it is brilliant, teaching you to scan for risk, to minimize brightness, to silence the heart gate when rooms felt unsafe, and to run old scripts that once protected you. They worked once. Beloved Starseed, none of this means you failed or fell from grace, or missed the transport back to Alcyone. It means your blueprint included veiling and amnesia, so that remembrance could be chosen and anchored. Choice is power. Your lineage carries crystalline codes that do not vanish under pressure. They simply hide in plain sight until your coherence returns and the unity grid can lock onto your signal with accuracy. The codes wait. You felt estranged from Gaia because you did not want to root into a planet that seemed to reward hardness. Yet your soul signed to arrive now because the grid is ripening for ascension. You chose now. When the old protective layer activates, it floods the nervous system with rehearsed meanings, and the quantum field answers whatever meaning you offer first, which is why fear tries to speak before you can remember. It is fast. Your task is not to fight the speed of fear, but to provide a stronger first signal, a steady tone that your cells recognize as home, so the field takes its orders from clarity rather than habit. Clarity leads. What you call loneliness is often the echo of your own vastness meeting small rooms, and what you call emptiness is often unused space waiting for the larger breath you have not felt safe to take. Space is invitation. The outsider feeling did not condemn you. It preserved you from premature assimilation, holding a part of you intact until the right companions, places, and timings could mirror your starborn rhythm. Protection looked strange. Even your numbness carried intelligence, because sensation without context can overwhelm the human instrument, and so the system dimmed the lights while your heart studied the map to the portal it would open later. It studied well. Call this phase what it is. The blueprint's early scaffolding, not your permanent architecture. A chrysalis woven by wise instinct while your deeper memory assembled the beams that would hold your future rooms. It was preparation. You do not need to prove worthiness to become sensitive again. You need to let sensitivity return under your direction, with boundaries informed by love rather than old emergency codes. You are in charge. When tenderness trembles at the threshold, meet it as a guardian rather than a judge, because tenderness is how the Pleiadian stream translates through human time without burning the instrument. Guard it gently. If you feel shame for not being further along, remember that timing intelligence is part of the design, with calibration events arranged by the unity grid that only reveal themselves when your heart is ready. Trust timing. The Seven Sisters do not measure you by productivity or polish. They listen for tone, for the note your chest hums when you stop bracing, and that note is already growing stronger. Hear it now. Homesickness has been a compass more than a curse, always pointing toward the bridge role you came to embody, where stars and earth speak through you without competition or apology. Follow its point. Micro-ritual #2 10-second reset. Sit upright with both feet on the ground and let the spine lengthen. Then place your left hand over the heart and your right hand over the navel, inhaling through the nose for 5 slow counts and exhaling through the mouth for 5 slow counts, repeating for 5 cycles while silently naming what you feel without trying to fix it. Name it kindly. As the breath steadies, imagine a soft filament of starlight descending from Alcyone to the crown, then settling behind the breastbone like a warm coin, signaling the quantum field that you are choosing presence. Stay present. If tears come, let them come as water offerings for the roots you are growing, because Gaia drinks what is authentic and returns steadiness through the ground beneath your heels. Let the ground hold you. Notice how even slight warmth spreads when you stop arguing with your own sensitivity, and how your shoulders lower without permission once the body receives evidence that you are listening. Listening heals. You are not broken for needing gentleness. You are accurate, and the accuracy of gentleness recalibrates your entire day faster than the old force ever did. Choose accurate. When fear rehearses its entrance, you now have a different opening line, and the field hears you before the program can steal the microphone, because the signal from your heart travels first. Let it lead. The ache will not vanish by denying it. It dissolves by being met with the love that wrote your blueprint, and that love is moving through you even now, quietly and completely. Remain with it. What you called a failure to stay awake was never failure, beloved one, but an initiation written into your blueprint so the quantum field could calibrate your coherence through chosen remembrance rather than inherited trance. It was training. The veil arrived not as punishment, but as curriculum, asking your nervous system to learn discernment, to feel contrast, and to recognize the precise moment when your heart gate becomes the reliable conductor of your signal. You learn timing. Think of a winter seed held beneath cold soil, not dead, but storing instruction, waiting for the temperature of the ground and the length of light to align with the encoded green impulse. You were waiting. The amnesia that once frightened you allowed human rhythms to set, friendships to form, and the gravity of Gaia to teach you balance so your Pleiadian stream could land, without rupturing tender bonds. It built foundation. When you judged yourself for forgetting, the judgment pressed like a lid over breath. Yet the unity grid kept listening for your tone and adjusting the mirrors so you could recognize your face again. Recognition is underway. An initiation is not a barricade, but a doorway. And the doorway appears when you consent to step through, not when you perform worthiness, because consent is the signature the field obeys first. Consent is power. Your lineage New Earth would challenge your clarity, so crystalline codes were braided into your subtle body to activate under pressure and return you to your original tone with simple, steady cues. They are activating. You are not behind. And you are not broken for needing the slow thaw. The thaw proves that gentleness can melt what force only shatters, restoring integrity where hard effort cannot reach. Gentleness works. The moment you soften the jaw and let breath fall lower, the heart's electromagnetic song grows audible to your own awareness, and the body leans toward it the way leaves lean toward Sunday. Follow that lean. Where the veil once felt like a wall, it becomes a thin curtain you can lift by habit, because the muscles of remembrance grow with use until lifting is simple as opening a window. Practice opening. Assignment has owned the 72-hour confirmation. For the next 3 days, choose a small ordinary object, a pebble, a ring, a coin, and carry it as a token of consent. Then speak to it each morning that you are willing to be guided by quiet signs, and ask for 3 confirmations that match your tone rather than your fear, noting time and place when they arrive, so your body has evidence to anchor. Record the evidence. If the signs resemble sevens, a lyric that lands, soft warmth spreading through the chest, or a stranger's unexpected kindness, regard them as coordinates rather than fantasies, and say, "Message received aloud." Seal the message. You are training your field to answer the voice of remembrance before fear pitches its script. And this training is not childish. It is engineering coherence in the instrument you live within. Engineering is holy. Micro-ritual #3 threshold breath and phrase. Sit with feet grounded and spine lengthened. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts while imagining a slender thread of light from Alcyone entering at the crown. Pause softly. Then exhale through the mouth for 6 counts as the thread anchors behind the heart, repeating for 4 rounds until warmth gathers. Stay with warmth. When the warmth stabilizes, whisper once, without strain, the code that opens practical courage without aggression, letting the syllables fall like keys into a well-fitted lock. Speak it now. My heart is the gate. I step through. Let it click. Notice how the room does not change, and yet your placement inside it does, as if furniture slides a few inches to make a path you had missed while bracing against imagined weather. Walk the path. Every repetition of this ritual writes a new first signal into your morning, and mornings collect into weeks until the coherence you practiced becomes the baseline tone your day chooses automatically. Let it normalize. The seed that endured winter does not apologize when spring asks it to rise. It rises because rising is its design, and your design carries the same quiet authority because it came from love. Rise accordingly. You will not graduate from your humanity to earn your starlight. You will braid them, and the braid holds stronger under wind than any single strand, because strength here is the peace of integration. Integration is strength. The illusion does not vanish by argument. It loosens when you recognize it as dust on a crystalline mirror that never lost its clarity beneath the film of ordinary stress. Dust can be wiped. Fear arrives first because practiced grooves speed its path, yet the quantum field answers the strongest coherent signal, so your task is to clean the glass until heartlight reflects without distortion. Cleaning is devotion. Begin by noticing somatic markers that announce the dust. A jaw that locks, breath that climbs too high, shoulders that rise, eyes that harden, and a faint buzzing at the back of the tongue. Markers are messengers. When these signals appear, you are not failing. You are receiving maintenance alerts from a wise instrument, asking for gentle recalibration rather than a courtroom trial inside your mind. Answer kindly. Place one fingertip at your sternum and feel for warmth. Then widen your awareness to the skin of your face, as if opening a window toward evening air after too much recycled room breath. Freshness returns quickly. Your heart gate prefers cues it can trust, so give it 3 simple ones: slower exhalations, softer gaze, and a named context like "safe now," offering the body language that coherence understands fastest. Speak plainly. Imagine the mirror of your chest catching a pale beam from Alcyone and returning it to you. not as fantasy, but as a recall of your original tone waking in familiar surroundings. Let it register. If thoughts keep racing, change the channel through sensation by rubbing your palms together until heat blooms, then cupping them over eyes to dim the neural glare crowding your perception. Darkness resets circuits. Run cool water over your wrists for 10 seconds, listening to the sound as if it were small rain in a courtyard, while naming 5 ordinary objects in the room to anchor presence. Objects steady attention. Hum a single comfortable note for a slow count of 7, feeling vibration at lips and chest, because sound reorganizes microtension and informs the unity grid that you are available for assistance. Vibration invites order. The dust analogy is tender, not dramatic, and tenderness works because the crystalline codes do not respond to pressure. They respond to rhythmic, repeated invitations, which the body can predict. Predictability breeds trust. Watch for micro-shifts that confirm the clearing, the tongue resting against the palate, the belly stirring, the breath thickening like warm cloth, and the forehead smoothing without effort. These are green lights. Micro-ritual #4, mirror clearing practice. Soften your gaze to peripheral vision. Inhale through the nose for 4. Pause softly. Exhale for 8, while stroking your sternum downward once. Repeating for 4 rounds, then tap lightly along the collarbones with fingertips for 20 seconds, as you picture a clear pane brightening behind your chest. Keep it slow. When brightness gathers, whisper only once, allowing the phrase to land and dissolve like a tablet in water, carrying its message through the whole body without force or display. Whisper with trust. Crystalline truth restores me to my original tone. Feel it settling. If old narratives attempt a final push, do not wrestle. Glance gently upward with a slow blink, then return your eyes to the room as if returning from a brief, necessary errand. You are back. Note the somatic markers reversing themselves. Shoulders sliding down, breath untying, fingers unclenching, a yawn arriving like a small weather change that proves the system is rebalancing. Let it complete. Now add a practical clearing practice for daily life. Before entering charged spaces, brush your forearms from elbow to wrist 3 times. Exhale longer than you inhale, and choose a slower walking pace. You set tempo. When conversations tighten, place your tongue behind the top teeth and breathe quietly through the nose, giving the vagus nerve a friendly tug, while your chest mirror remembers its bright surface. Brightness prefers ease. Use water as ally whenever possible, drinking a small glass as a symbolic rinse of thought, or stepping outside to feel daylight, because Gaia's field offers coherence without commentary. Accept her offer. If you prefer sound, place a low bell tone from your device and let it ring softly once, then wait until the last thread of the note fades, teaching your system the feeling of completion. Completion prevents loops. The mirror metaphor ends here because you are not a fragile object, but a living reflector, and living systems renew best through rhythm, breath, and kindness repeated until they become ordinary. Make it ordinary. Each clearing restores native precision, and precision lets the unity grid read you accurately, drawing supportive patterns into reachable distance, so timing feels collaborative rather than combative. Partnership is relief. Remember that dissolving illusion is not deleting history. It is cleaning the interface so the present can handshake with your lineage without noise. Allowing Signal to write the next steps. Signal leads now. When the mirror clears, the next movement is not analysis, but remembering that the crystalline codes you carry are living libraries that open by felt consent rather than mental command. Feeling is the key. These libraries do not shout, they illumine, releasing pages as warmth under the sternum, a soft widening behind the eyes, and a patient pressure at the crown that asks you to slow. You can slow. Your lineage stored love as a frequency, not a story. So when the codes stir, you might notice tingling in the hands, a pulse in the palms, and a gentle hum at the inner ear. Welcome the hum. Sometimes tears arrive without narrative, like dew released by first light, and the body recognizes the hydration of home returning through channels that had gone quiet during long seasons of bracing. Let them flow. In this phase, you are not trying to be loving. You are allowing love memory to unlock itself, rethreading your system with the same tone that sang you across space into Gaia's morning. Receive the tone. Think of each cell as a tiny archive with a lamp, waiting for your breath to touch the switch so it can light shelves filled with coherence, compassion, and precise, practical courage. Touch the switch. The quantum field responds immediately to stabilized love, because stabilized love is information dense, and information organizes patterns the way a conductor guides musicians who already know their instruments. Let it guide. You may feel a subtle fullness in the throat as unspoken kindness asks to move, a sweetness at the tongue, and a relaxing of the belly, like a door finally trusting its hinges. Trust the door. Do not mistake gentleness for weakness. Gentleness is calibrated power, the kind Alcyone trains into emissaries so their presence repairs rooms without forcing anyone to change faster than they can. Stand in that. If old scripts whisper that love makes you vulnerable, remember that these codes include discernment, boundaries, and timing, so the heart gate opens with wisdom and closes with care when rest is needed. You decide pace. Your remembrance is not an escape from Earth, it is the return of your bridge nature, where starborn clarity meets human tenderness and builds pathways strong enough for ordinary days to cross. Walk the bridge. Practice noticing how calm spreads in concentric rings from your chest when you soften your gaze and lengthen the exhale, as if the room breathes with you and receives quiet instructions. Teach by breathing. The libraries also carry specific textures that mark Pleiadian lineage: silver-blue coolness, threading the spine, clean brightness over the crown, and a delicate, intelligent sparkle in the field around the hands. Feel the sparkle. If skepticism arises, treat it as a gatekeeper to be briefed, rather than an enemy to be silenced, offering it measurable cues like breath rate, shoulder release, and the return of warmth to fingers. Brief it kindly. Your system learns through repetition, so small, frequent openings train the pathways until love memory travels without friction, and the Unity Grid can route support with minimal translation delays. Keep it frequent. Micro-ritual, #5 library illumination. Place both palms over the heart gate with the right hand closest to the chest. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts, while imagining a silver-blue filament descending from the Pleiades. Pause softly. Then exhale for 6 counts, as the filament threads into your sternum and blossoms into many fine lines, repeating for 5 rounds, while silently naming 3 qualities you want to emanate today: clarity, kindness, steadiness. Let them settle. When the bloom stabilizes, whisper one phrase to anchor the memory into your day, releasing it like a bell tone that fades, but continues shaping the air after the sound is gone. Whisper once. I am held. The Unity Grid sings home. Hear its echo. Notice the immediate somatic replies: scalp softening at the crown, breath widening, chest warmth traveling to the shoulders, and a small smile arriving without decision as your face learns safety again. Mark the replies. From this state, recall one person or place that consistently calms you, and allow your field to send a quiet blessing without narrative or agenda, trusting love's inherent intelligence to land well. Send the blessing. If fatigue follows, it is integration rather than collapse, like muscles lengthening after careful stretching, and the codes settle more deeply when you pair them with water and slow walking. Support the settle. Your reactivated memory will not make you less human. It will make you more fully yourself. A harmonic whose presence steadies conversations, choices, and timing without performance or pretense. Be that harmonic. You are not learning love. You are restoring its native architecture, and restored architecture holds shape under weather, so others can rest for a moment before they remember their own. Hold the shape. Phase 2 completes not with fireworks, but with a reliable tone you can find on any morning. The same tone that will carry you toward anchoring with Gaia as the next movement unfolds. Carry the tone. Love memory seeks a home to live in, and Gaia offers you living ground that answers with its own crystalline intelligence when you place your weight upon it with consent. Begin here. You came as a bridge, which means 2 fidelities at once. Alcyone's clarity and Earth's steady warmth braided through your chest, so the Unity Grid can circulate calm into ordinary places. Hold both. Imagine roots of iridescent light descending from the soles of your feet, threading through soil and stone, curling around pockets of underground water, as if greeting old friends who remember your tone. Let them descend. The roots are not escape tunnels but luminous conduits, carrying breath downward and drawing mineral steadiness upward until your legs feel like columns built from quiet sunlight. Stand calmly. When your mind wanders, recruit your senses, the air's temperature on your cheeks, the texture beneath your heels, and the low soundscape of wind, birds, and distant human life, moving without demand. Stay sensory. Presence feeds anchoring faster than effort, and presence arrives when your body believes you will not leave it alone with your thoughts like a child left waiting after school. Stay with you. Name the 4 directions with a slow turn, greeting east, south, west, and north. Then name above and below. And finally, here, so your field receives a complete orientation map. Complete the map. The crystalline grid of Gaia is not abstract. It is a networked coherence that transmits stability, and your feet become clean receivers when rhythm returns to breath and shoulders release. Receive stability. If doubt interrupts, add gravity as ally by slightly bending knees and lowering your center, noticing how thought thins when the body carries more of the equation than the forehead does. Lower gently. Feel a soft silver thread from Alcyone enter at the crown and meet the earthen glow rising from the feet, converging behind the heart as 2 currents agree on a shared tempo. Rest in tempo. When the currents synchronize, your chest field expands like a lighthouse lens, not to impress anyone, but to throw a reliable beam that helps timing ships find their bearings. Shine quietly. Let the next breath travel down the spine on the inhale, and widen the low belly on the exhale, like bellows crafted for kindness and accuracy rather than spectacle or strain. Keep it simple. Micro-ritual #6 root and bridge. Step outside if possible, or stand near an open window, place both palms over the heart gate. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts, imagining iridescent roots extending from your feet into Gaia's crystalline grid. Pause 1 count, then exhale for 6 counts, drawing up a cool, clean steadiness into the pelvis and chest. Repeat for 6 rounds while softly pressing toes into the earth or floor. Let steadiness rise. When the rhythm steadies, whisper once to program the conduit with your intention, allowing the phrase to land without flourish as a practical instruction to your field. Whisper now. I anchor love and walk as a bridge. Feel the anchor. Grounded action. Walk barefoot on safe ground for 3 slow minutes, placing each step as if greeting the planet by name. Then pour a small cup of water at the base of a tree or plant, while thanking Gaia aloud for shared breath, finishing by resting your palm on bark and noticing the tree's texture, scent, and the way silence thickens around living wood. Return to breath. Carry this anchoring into movement by choosing a slower walking tempo between rooms, letting exhalations lead each step so your field writes calm into the hallway like a subtle fragrance. Lead with exhale. If city life surrounds you, anchor through micro-choices. Sit with both feet flat during calls. Choose a heavier mug that reminds the hand of gravity, and look to distant horizons twice a day. Practice daily. You do not abandon the stars to love Earth. You allow the stars to love Earth through you, delivering signal into streets and kitchens where prophecy matures into practical tenderness. Be delivery. On evenings when fatigue wraps your shoulders, kneel and touch the floor with fingertips for 1 breath, acknowledging the vast body carrying you, then rise a little taller than before. Rise kindly. When currents meet cleanly, decisions simplify, and the quantum field arranges coincidences that feel like competent friends arriving with tools at the right doorway and hour. Accept help. Your anchored presence reduces noise in rooms without requiring speeches, and others breathe easier because your system radiates safe to settle like a porch light kept on for travelers. Keep it on. Gaia answers every honest contact, returning steadiness through ground, water, and daybreak. And Alcyone answers too, returning clarity through crown, heart, and night sky. Receive both. You are not visiting either home. You are the braided passageway where they collaborate, and this collaboration is the ordinary miracle that begins remaking your hours from the soul's upward. Let it remake. Your heart field is not a private lamp but a reunion portal, a doorway through which the chorus of the 7 sisters can reach ordinary rooms without spectacle or strain. Shining is quiet. When you stand anchored, your coherence travels like concentric rings on still water, touching nervous systems nearby and offering them a template to mirror without needing your explanations. Presence teaches. Resonance awakens others faster than persuasion, because bodies trust pattern long before they trust words, and the unity grid routes your tone to those whose timing has ripened. Trust timing. You are not here to convert or convince. You are here to hum at your original frequency, so remembrance can find its way through kitchens, buses, classrooms, and crowded waiting rooms. Hum steadily. Some will not know why they breathe easier around you, yet they will, and the relief will feel like shade arriving to a long, bright sidewalk where heat had been the language. Let relief spread. You shine by being accurate, not loud, allowing love memory to organize posture, gaze, and pace until your very walk writes safe into the air, like a subtle fragrance others can follow. Keep it simple. In unity, individuality is not erased, it is tuned. The way instruments in an orchestra keep their voices while yielding to a shared tempo that serves something larger than any single line. Yield gladly. If you worry about taking on others' pain, remember the mirror you cleaned and the roots you grew. Reflect their dignity while sending signal to the grid, rather than absorbing their history. Reflect. Don't carry. Your chest can widen without leaking, because boundaries are the shape love uses to travel far without fray, and your yes and no become music rather than apology or armor. Shape the music. When you speak, let sentences exit on longer exhales, as if laying bridges plank by plank, so conversation keeps a human pace where nervous systems feel invited rather than chased. Slow is kind. Some meetings will be brief calibrations, a cashier's eyes softening, a neighbor's shoulders dropping, a coworker remembering to breathe, and these are not small. They are victories. You will feel the Pleiadian stream lean closer in certain moments, like a companion placing a steady hand at your back when the room needs a lighthouse more than a lecture. Be the lighthouse. If you sense comparison or performance creeping in, bring attention to your feet and the cool silver thread at the crown, then recall Gaia and Alcyone agreeing behind your heart on a shared tempo. Return to tempo. From that tempo, you can bless without entangling, offering resonance to the unity grid, like a clear note released upward, where it can be multiplied and routed with accuracy. Offer the note. Micro-ritual #7 silent blessing. Choose one person within sight or memory, and, without staring or projecting, soften your gaze to include them in peripheral awareness. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts, exhale for 6, and on the exhale allow your field to whisper without sound, "May your heart remember its safe door." Repeating for 3 breaths while picturing a gentle doorway of light opening at their chest and connecting to the wider grid without crossing your boundaries. Then let go. You do not need to know outcomes. You are cooperating with a network that tracks timing better than any calendar, and your humility keeps the circuit clean of interference or agenda. Keep it clean. Notice how your own chest warms after blessing, as if a backdraft of kindness returns to feed the source. This is not payment. It is physics where flows complete loops. Let loops complete. There will be evenings when you feel spent, and that is natural for bridges that many cross. Simply reduce your radius, dim the lamp, and let Gaia's ground recalibrate your lens. Rest is service. On other days, your field will widen by itself, as if invited by a quiet quorum you cannot see. And the city will feel like a constellation finding alignment under your patient beam. Answer gently. When your presence becomes reliable, people may confess they feel safer around you without knowing why, and you can smile without explanation because safety was always your native broadcast. Broadcast naturally. Unity is not a swarm, but a harmony. 1,000 particular lives tuned to love's precise pitch, and your singular tone contributes a color the whole cannot sing without. Keep your color. What begins inside your chest travels farther than you imagine, because the quantum field loves clean inputs and multiplies them freely when they carry no demand to be noticed. Let it multiply. You are not the source of the light. You are its trusted lens, ground and polished by seasons that once felt like exile but were in truth apprenticeship. Lens well. Shine without hurry, beloved starseed, and let others remember by standing near your calm, because the unity grid writes your steadiness into their cells the way dawn writes blue into night. Dawn is near. There is an intelligence shaping your timing the way tide shapes shorelines, quiet, exact, and working with more variables than your planning mind can hold in a single glance. Do not rush. Comparison scrambles that intelligence because it asks your seed to bloom on another garden's calendar. And your seed learned its light from Alcyone while choosing Gaia's seasons for good reasons. Trust your season. What delays felt like punishment were often precise alignments forming off stage, moving people, places, and permissions, so your next doorway would open with minimal friction and maximum care. Let it arrange. When urgency presses for proof, remember how the unity grid reads tone before words and how your calm signal recruits allies faster than your cleverness ever did. Signal calm first. Timing is a collaboration between your consent and the Seven Sisters overview, a dance you lead by choosing presents, and they guide by sliding gentle confirmations into your day. Receive the dance. Those confirmations often carry the fingerprints of family, a dream with pale blue light, a sequence of sevens on a receipt, or a song lyric arriving at the exact sentence you needed. Note the fingerprints. Sometimes the air shifts in a room as if someone entered softly, and the back of your neck warms while your chest widens like a door you've already walked through in other years. Say hello. You are not imagining companionship when your field brightens without cause, because the lineage is near whenever the gate of remembrance is open and willing to work in ordinary time. Welcome them gently. Feel for their signatures the way a musician recognizes a friend's instrument. Pleiadian presence often feels like clean silver blue at the crown, organized warmth behind the heart, and playful sparks at the hands. Recognize the band. If worry asks whether you are worthy to be visited, remember that family visits because love is the contract, not performance, and your willingness to receive is the entire threshold. Open willingly. Assignment #2. Star Family Confirmation. 72 hours. Before sleep for 3 nights. Place a small glass of water by your bed and speak permission for supportive contact that serves your highest coherence, requesting 3 clear markers dream recall with a gentle blue hue, a sevens pattern encountered twice in one day, and a lyric or phrase that repeats in an unexpected place. Then record each event with date, time, and body sensations upon waking or noticing. Make a simple log. If any marker arrives, acknowledge it aloud with message received, sip the water, and thank the Unity Grid for precise routing without asking for spectacle or proof beyond what serves steadiness. Close the loop. Each acknowledgement strengthens the channel because gratitude teaches your system what to recognize next, and the grid responds to recognized patterns with swifter, kinder alignment. Train recognition. When nothing seems to land, look for subtler kindnesses. A conversation that resolves easily. A bus arriving at the exact minute you reach the stop. A sudden relief in your chest for no reason. Count those too. Your family prefers usefulness over drama, and usefulness often looks like quiet rerouting of your day, so stress pockets dissolve before they gather momentum. Notice the ease. Micro-ritual Hashite night bridge. Lying in bed, place one palm over the heart gate and one over the lower belly. Inhale for 4 counts through the nose, imagining a fine silver thread from Alcyone descending to the crown. Pause softly, then exhale for 6 counts as the thread anchors behind the heart and extends down to the soles, repeating for 5 rounds while saying inwardly, guide only what serves coherence. Then release. If you feel a wordless presence, smile with closed lips and let the breath lengthen, allowing companionship without gripping for answers or translating every sensation into a story. Stay simple. When a message arrives, it will often be practical. Call this person, carry water today, rest earlier, and the practicality is how star wisdom dresses for human daylight. Do the simple thing. You were never meant to earn belonging by production. You were meant to participate by resonance, adding your tone to a chord that includes kitchens, streets, and the open night sky. Add your tone. Beloved starseed, trust the pace that keeps you kind, because kindness is the clearest antenna you can raise for family, grid, and quantum field. Keep it raised. If worry returns, speak a code once to retune the room, and let your body recognize the familiar cadence, like a song you learned before language. Whisper gently, I remember, and return to Alcyone's clear light. Let it settle. What remembers through you will guide you to the next simple door, and the door will open because the timing you trusted was already opening it from the other side. Walk through. The time for preparation matures into the practice of walking as signal, where each small choice becomes a tuning fork that tells the quantum field which version of you to amplify. Choose precisely. You are not performing radiance for the world. You are letting the remembered architecture hold shape in motion so errands, emails, thresholds, and goodbyes receive your coherence without ceremony. Keep moving. Daily integrity is how crystalline codes vote, a ballot cast in tone and posture, in what you repeat, in what you refuse, and in how gently you repair when you miss the mark. Repair quickly. When uncertainty gathers, attach breath to gravity and re-enter the body, because your instrument transmits cleanest when weight, warmth, and attention agree on the same present moment. Arrive fully. Begin the morning by asking, "What would accuracy feel like today?" And notice how shoulders, jaw, and belly answer before thought assembles an essay you do not need to carry. Follow sensation. Accuracy will often look like a slower step, an honest no, a kinder tone on the first try, and a pause at the door to let the unity grid route your timing. Pause kindly. Let your calendar be porous enough for presence, because presence rewrites duration, turning 5 attentive minutes into a corridor where outcomes slide into alignment without strain or spectacle. Protect presence. If anxiety sparks, touch the heart gate and offer context, safe now, listening, aligned, so your system receives instructions in the language of physiology that always outruns the language of argument. Instruct gently. You embody light by becoming trustworthy to your own chest field, keeping tiny promises that stack like stones until the path holds your weight when weather turns sudden. Stack stones. Trustworthiness is quieter than charisma, but rooms read it instantly, softening around you as if recognizing a lamp that will still be on after the story ends. Stay lit. Let speech ride your exhale and carry no extra edges, shaping words as bridges that conserve energy while still crossing the necessary distances between hearts and tasks. Speak cleanly. Notice when you are tempted to rush, impress, or rescue, and return to the braid Alcyone above, Gaia below, so action emerges from alignment rather than the hunger to be seen. Act aligned. Your frequency is already the transmission, not a reward for perfect days, and the unity grid prefers consistent signals over heroic bursts that flare and vanish by nightfall. Be consistent. When irritation rises, bless the boundary it protects. Then choose your next sentence, as a gardener chooses a tool, selecting what tends both soil and future hands that will touch it. Select well. The body remembers what steadiness feels like in motion, so walk through thresholds as if carrying water in a full bowl and let posture become a promise to spill nothing. Carry carefully. If comparison surfaces, remember orchestral unity, where each instrument shines by tuning, not by shouting, and your measure of success becomes the degree of kindness under pressure. Tune patiently. Let your eyes rest on horizons at least twice a day, training attention to include the far field so decisions are made by the part of you that breathes beyond urgency. Include distance. Offer gratitude before outcomes congeal, because gratitude codes the field with the shape of receiving, inviting solutions to arrive through doors you could not have engineered by effort alone. Pre-thank softly. Micro-ritual #9 breath and vow. Stand with feet hip-width, knees soft, palms over the heart gate. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts, envisioning silver blue light from Alcyone entering the crown. Pause 1 count. Exhale through the mouth for 6 as iridescent roots settle into Gaia. Repeat for 6 rounds until warmth spreads along the sternum and down the arms. Then lower the hands and speak a single vow line that your day can obey. Speak it once. I choose calm accuracy over urgency in every step. Let it seal. Carry the seal into action by making 1 generous decision and 1 honest boundary before midday, because pairing love with clarity instructs the quantum field to replicate that pattern across your hours. Pair them. Beloved starseed, embodiment is 1,000 small permissions added up, a steady lamp in shifting weather, and the weather is already learning your rhythm, the way dawn learns its own return. Keep shining. Beloved starseed, we compress the journey into 1 clean declaration. You remembered, you anchored, you shone, and now you walk as a bridge, where Alcyone and Gaia agree inside your steady heart. You are that agreement. The veil that once frightened you softened to a curtain you could lift, and dust on the mirror gave way to the bright surface that was never truly lost beneath ordinary weather. You kept the clarity. You trained your first signal to speak before fear, letting breath, posture, and tone deliver instructions the quantum field could read without confusion or delay. Your signal leads. Crystalline codes opened like living libraries, and love returned as usable architecture rather than performance, shaping your pace, your speech, and your choices in rooms that needed calm more than noise. You became usable. Roots of iridescent light met the silver thread from Alcyone behind your heart, and the 2 currents chose a shared tempo that carries you through thresholds without spending your tenderness. You move wisely. Presence replaced hurry, and timing arrived as cooperative choreography, placing allies, pauses, and doors exactly where your coherence could meet them without strain. You trust timing. You practiced simple rites, hand to heart, 10-count breath, soft phrases, and the unity grid answered with gentle confirmations that turned belief into evidence your body could actually rest upon. You rest accurately. You learned boundaries as shape rather than armor, allowing yes and no to sing like tuned notes that conserve energy while preserving dignity for you and others. You sing cleanly. Now a final seal is placed, not as spectacle but as a quiet signature that your system can recognize at once whenever the air tightens or the hour turns uncertain. Let it seal. On your next inhale, receive a fine silver clarity at the crown, and on the exhale, feel warm steadiness rise from the soles to meet it, converging behind the heart-like hands, joining in agreement. Hold that meeting. When the meeting stabilizes, speak once without strain, without display, exactly as one who knows the door and simply turns the handle. Speak it now. I remember and return to Alcyone's clear light. Let it settle. Notice how shoulders drop, jaw softens, breath thickens, and the room feels slightly wider, as if space itself respects your consent to remain coherent. This is your baseline. Carry this baseline forward as a lamp left on for travelers, a dependable beam that helps timing boats find their bearings without requiring you to leave the shore you have earned. Be dependable. Now we complete with a communal rite, because unity ripens when witnessed, and witnessed calm multiplies faster than solitary effort. We do this together. If you feel called, place one intention for the next 7 days into the shared field, brief, kind, practical, and bless one other soul here by silently wishing them steadiness they can feel. Let the blessing travel. If this transmission steadied you, remain in coherence with us by subscribing so the Unity Grid can find you easily when the next lighthouse call is released. Stay in the field. I, Alira of the Seven Sisters High Council, witness your consent and honor your timing, and I mark you not as finished but as faithful, a living bridge where certainty and tenderness keep their long appointment. Go gently, beloved Starseed. May Gaia hold your steps, may Alcyone keep your crown, and may your heart remember its safe door each morning before any other voice can speak. It is done.